Well, hello everybody, Mike with Spray Jones. Welcome to the ninth and final video wrapping up on the fake news series of spray foam insulation. You can see the beginning of this video, we go a little bit of a recap on what we see as typical quotations on the internet, and those represent the 8 other videos that we've done up until now. So today's wrap-up video is, let's hear from the actual people out in the field. A lot of people say, well, I don't know, maybe you want to do the roof, maybe you want to do the walls, but I wouldn't do both. I don't understand where people come from other than they can't afford it in the budget. I don't understand why you wouldn't want to have your under slab done, your walls in your basement done, or your crawl space, or slab on grade, and then the walls above grade, and then for sure the underside of the roof. I don't see a problem with having really good insulation. I don't understand why you'd need to go back to inferior products in various areas. We've dispelled the myths in other videos about spray foam being trapping moisture and having humidity problems. If you design the HVAC system to handle the heat load and the moisture load and the air purification load, then you're fine. You're fine to have spray foam totally encapsulating you, and that's what you want. Total envelope seal. All right, let's just take a look at some previous comments because I like the open source. I don't like controlling the information. There's a few yahoos that have had to get deleted out of here and banned, but for the most part, people like this says, yes, we have 7 inches of spray foam for ceilings and roof in Virginia. I tell people you have a Yeti cooler by the time you are done. And then they state that the fiberglass manufacturers have got the market cornered and they make spray foam expensive in the range. So yes, having a Yeti cooler is fine. This isn't causing any problems. You're not going to create a sick home syndrome provided that you have balanced out the systems elsewhere, like I've said before. Perry speaks here about an under slab video. He says, I appreciate this series we were doing under slab insulation. He said, I had 2 structures spray foamed over the past 20 years, I believe, in the product. See, folks, if foam didn't add up, if it was inherently full of all these problems, you wouldn't be able to get people saying that they've had a couple done in 20 years. They'd be saying, I had a whole pile of failures. And there'd be a lot more negative comments out there. Doing the barn dominiums, doing the steel structures where you're going to convert them into being living space all the time, absolutely. Closed cell spray foam is the way to go. Here we've got somebody who's had structures done over the past 20 years and believes in the product. So I don't see why you can't too. Matt says, I just had my basement and rims done. Rim is a specific part of the joist cavity. So when your joists end, when they get to the end of the joist, we call that the joist end. But when the joist is running parallel with the foundation, not 90 degrees across, that's called the rim. So on your sides, you have the rim, and then 90 degrees from that, you have the joist end. So he's saying that he's got basically the basement walls, the concrete walls, and the joist ends done. Sprayed with closed cell. It came out awesome. In the US, you got a 30% tax credit up to $4,000 in energy improvement. So this was a no-brainer. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. There is no question, no matter what state I was in the US and what province I'm in Canada, closed cell foam is absolutely the only way to go on concrete foundations. And if I'm building new, I would try to get my build done at such a time of the year that I can spray the outside of the foundation as well as the inside. I definitely do the footings and down to the dirt. Here we've got a guy that is doing building inspections. Chad's doing inspections out there, and he says that the number one issue is how it is applied and what foam to use. Yeah, correct foam, correct tool in the toolbox, and then installation is just like anything. You're not going to be happy with something if it's installed wrong. There's a verifiable and fairly straightforward way to get spray foam installed correctly. It just takes some experience, dedication, and moral fiber in your system. There are many brands out there, and you guys are using the right stuff. We always recommend testing for air leakage after any spray foam application to correct any issues prior to finishing work. Couldn't agree more. Thermal imaging cameras and different ways of quality assurance are out there. They're quite affordable, and it's a whole lot cheaper than tearing everything down So what we do is we've got our own thermal cameras, and I find that just that alone, going around when there's a temperature differential to in to out, whether it's a hot outside and cool inside, or vice versa, works very, very well. You can see in real time what's going on. Even the caulking and the air sealing, whether or not a window is faulty or what have you, is really good quality control. So get things checked, especially if you're going to be doing tongue and groove or wood paneling, and it's going to be very difficult, if not next to impossible, to be tearing things apart. You don't want to tear a little or a lot apart, but you really don't want to do tongue and groove and have to pull down a cedar ceiling or wood paneling in a room or something like that because you got something wrong in a corner. You want to get everything right the first time. Russ, upside down, said just had 3-inch closed cell sprayed on the bottom of the roof deck, 2-inch on the walls. The change is unbelievable. I'm sold on it. When I get to renovating the rest of the outer walls, I will definitely have it sprayed. We find this all the time. The hardest time to see the value in spray foam is when you're when you're a newbie, spray foam virgin, and you're evaluating that quote and trying to decide if you can, you can financially swing it, and if you can, great. Once you've had it, once you've experienced a good installation, you will be the next best salesman out in the industry for spray foam. Completed work sells me a lot of work because the people are sitting around the water cooler and they're visiting with their friends and they're like, oh yeah, here's how it went. Just go in, do a good job, give them a good buying experience as a spray foam installer, and then that job, the product itself and their experience with it will sell you more work. So you guys that own businesses out there, you've really got to do a good job. As soon as you give people a bad buying experience and poor installation, well, it doesn't matter how good the product coulda, woulda, they're not going to be recommending you or any more of the industry. Here's a really good one. Longtime carpenter friend in New England tells me that even with good spray foam installed 4 years later, maybe separating from the wood, this may create gaps. Okay, that's fairly fictional. It's not going to happen all the time. That means it was sprayed wet. There was a contaminant. We handle that in the video where I talk about 5 failures of spray foam and why. But this person here, I didn't even need to chime in on the comments, says, I live in a wooden building that was internally sprayed in 1982. When we opened up the wall to replace windows last year, the foam was fixed solid to the walls and battens, absolutely zero shrinkage and cracking. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it is. So the upper comment, if that isn't an exaggeration, somebody has failed at something. All right, that is a failure on installation and product and procedures. It shouldn't be happening. Otherwise, how would the product ever receive air barrier certifications and vapor qualities and everything like that? The 1982 example is very, very common. By the way, 1982, we're talking 40 years now, right? 40 plus years. Good video, solid info like this. I've had many discussions and arguments over exactly this. I had closed cell sprayed to my attic roof deck and walls in 100-year-old wood stick frame house. It tightened everything up, and I've never had a problem since. It has paid for itself on my heating bills over 4 years. I've told people many times, especially when the homes were really bad, that you're generally going to catch your investment back on under 5 years. And they scoff at that. I find that a lot of people really don't understand what they're paying per month or per year in annual op costs. And usually on the difference alone, we've got them on the 5-year mark or less. 4 years, sometimes 3. I talked to a gentleman that was going through $1,600 a month in propane on a farm in cold climate to heat the home because the home was so drafty and so terrible. So we're looking to do something for him. So get spray foam and you'll have your money back really, really soon. Here's a Canadian. I retrofitted my 90-year-old home with closed cell foam under the roof sheeting. There was effectively no air sealing or insulation there before. My natural gas usage dropped by 50% in December in Ottawa. The video that I did on roof decks was making them even more confident. So this just goes on and on and on. I can beat up on this all day long. People are just going to tell you this is a no-brainer. This is the premier way. Get a good spray foam installation. Drop 50% in your op costs right now. Do 2 more and then we'll call it quits here. Thanks again, Mike, for putting this out. I've been doing this for some time. This is under slab. This is an under slab video. He talks about the spray foam contributes to a huge edge on level from stable ventilation, temperature, and humidity. I agree with you that under slab is becoming mainstream because it's happening already in my rural applications It's worth reiterating that concrete will continuously wick moisture through from underneath, and effectiveness of conventional methods dealing with this is short-lived at best. Nothing deals with moisture wicking through concrete like spray foam. So absolutely, under slab and crawl space stuff, more and more people are just saying to heck with the permalon liners, to heck with poly, to heck with rigid insulation on the unevenness of the ground, taping the seams, taping the joints, trying to get it sealed. That's what this gentleman David's talking about. Spray foam is king when it comes to sealing up crawl spaces and under slab work. And here to close out, I've got sort of testimony on how well spray foam Henry is writing. I built my own shop last year. No in-floor heat, but put down 1.25, 1 inch and a quarter under slab, 4 inches on the walls, and ceiling heating with a Osborne 3300 wood stove only. 10 degrees Celsius, no problem on a 36 by 50 shop, 16 feet. I would say so, yeah. Wood stove and 36 by 50 by 16 feet, absolutely. Roast you out in there. So the spray foam is there. It's verifiable. We're sort of just going to wrap up this video here today. Like, if you're looking for walls, under slab, roof, vaulted ceilings, cathedral ceilings, if you're looking for any type of insulation for new and existing building, you absolutely can put your trust in the actual product, the science, the technology, the certifications that are out there, and you can, with enough diligence and knowledge, that's what these videos are about, learn enough to find the right installer in your area. You know, if you're in Saskatchewan, give Spray Jones a call. We might just travel out to your area and take care of you. If you're in Western Canada, sometimes we can poke you around, point you in the right direction, find you somebody to talk to. So make a reach out to us, and we'll try and help you where we can when we can. So thanks for everybody sticking around in this 9-part series. A little bit long, but you know what? The body of information just needs to keep growing, and these lies need to be dispelled, and that's what it is about today, shooting it down. So leave a comment. Leave your comment about using spray foam. You've used spray foam? Great. Leave me a comment about how it's gone, and we can bat it around a little bit, and we'll catch you on the next video soon.